Howdy Hearthstoners, I'm Doc Awesome, and today we are going to play some Totem Shaman. We call this deck Totemic Overload. It's kind of a blend of the very popular aggressive Overload Shaman and the slightly slower, more mid-rangey Totem Shaman. The benefits of this deck are that it's very flexible. You can go super aggressive in the early game and overwhelm your opponent. Or if he manages to stabilize and hold on, you can push through to the late game with some of the bigger cards in here. So let's see, we have 1 lightning bolt. 3 damage for 1 mana is a pretty good deal, even if you overload for 1. This is good just for helping keep control of the board in the early game, but it can also go face if you need just a few more points of damage to finish off your opponent. Very useful spell. We have 1 Primal Fusion. This is one of the spells from the Old Gods expansion. It gives a minion +1/+1 for each totem you have on the board. And I did not think this was going to be a great card when it was first revealed, but it has done a lot of work in this deck. If you have 4 totems on the board, which is likely because most people don't think they're worth clearing, this is basically a 1 mana Blessing of Kings. It can, just like that card, it can take one of your crappy early game minions and turn it into a late game minion. We have 2 Rockbiter weapons, one of the best Shaman spells. You can give +3 attack to anything, including yourself, for 1 turn. This is great for keeping the board clear in the early game. And if you combine it with Doomhammer in the late game, this can be a great way to just finish your opponent. We have 1 Argent Squire, one of the better 1-drops that is currently available in Standard. We only have 1 of them because although it's nice to have 1 on turn 1, it is not absolutely necessary. The 1-drop you really want to see is the Tunnel Trog. This guy has been just tearing up the ladder ever since League of Explorers, and it's definitely one of the best 1-drops in the game, second only to probably Mana Worm. It's a 1/3, so it can probably trade with any of those early 1 or 2 drops, even if it doesn't get buffed. But then every time you cast a card with Overload, it gets buffed per crystal that you overload. Not just +1 like the Mana Worm. If you cast a spell with 2 Overload, like Feral Spirit, your Tunnel Trog becomes a 3/3. It's a very powerful card. Sometimes you just play this on turn 1 and win the game. And it's also great bait for removal. You put 1 of these on the board and your opponent will go nuts trying to get rid of it. See, we also have 1 Eternal Sentinel. This is another card from the Old Gods expansion. It's a 3/2 and it unlocks all of your overloaded mana crystals. Basically serves the same purpose as what was it called? Lava Shock. Only instead of a 2 damage spell, it's a 3/2 minion. Honestly, I've found the Eternal Sentinel to be much more useful than Lava Shock. First of all, it's 3 potential damage on the board as opposed to 2, and it's just a solid minion. You play even if you're not overloaded at all, and you play a 3/2 for 2, that's still a pretty good minion. And in addition, it also has the possibility of, if you have a big overload turn where you cast your Feral Spirits and play Doomhammer and Lightning Bolt something, then you can play Eternal Sentinel and you'll still have all of your mana for next turn. Can be a pretty clutch card in the right situation. We have 2 Flame Tongue Totems, probably the best Shaman minion. You put 1 of these between 2 of your totems and suddenly your 0 attack tokens become serious threats. The Flame Tongue is great for getting all of your cheap early game minions to be able to trade up into something much bigger. And they're also great for just pushing extra damage on the board. And they're totems, so they will synergize with the other totem buffing cards that we have in this deck. Speaking of totems, we have 2 totem golems. probably the best 2-drop in the game. You get 3 attack, 4 health. Those are solid stats even for a 3 mana card, but you're only paying 2. Sure, you overload for 1, but that is almost inconsequential because if you play this guy on turn 2, overload for 1, you can still play another one on turn 3. And playing a 3/4 on turn 3 is still pretty good. Also, it's the perfect follow-up to your Tunnel Trog. You play Tunnel Trog turn 1, you play Totem Golem turn 2, and your opponent is in real bad shape. We have 2 Feral Spirits. This is a very useful spell that summons 2/2/3 Spirit Wolves with Taunt. You basically get 2 drops worth of stats with Taunt for only 3 mana. It overloads you for 2, so it is a little awkward to cast. You play this on turn 3, and you'll only have 2 mana on turn 4, which can be a drawback, but like I said, you're playing 2 drops worth of stuff on turn 3. It's a good way to slow down the game and to both buff and protect your Tunnel Trog to keep it alive for a few more turns so it can keep hitting face. Very useful cards. We have 2 Hexes. Hex is still one of the best removals in the game. It takes any minion, no matter how big and fearsome, and turns it into a tiny little frog with no attack. Sure, it has Taunt, and that can be annoying, but if you sequence it right, hexing something will pretty much always work out in your favor. It's better than Silence. It's better than a direct damage spell like Lava Burst or Fireball because it doesn't matter how much health it has. It can be Deathwing, 12/12. And for 3 mana, you turn it into a harmless frog. Great card. We have 2 Lightning Storms. These are our only AoE attacks. Unfortunately, Lightning Storm is not entirely reliable because it deals 2 to 3 damage, and maybe if you have a spell damage totem out on the board, it'll deal 3 to 4, but you can never really reliably count on it doing one or the other. It's a card that is often played in desperation when you're just getting overwhelmed. It's really just here to buy you another turn or 2 to try and stabilize against a zoo, because that is everywhere on the ladder these days. If you're playing on the ladder, you're playing against zoo, and if you're playing against zoo, you'll want a Lightning Storm in your hands. We have 1 Mana Tide Totem. This guy is just here to help us draw cards. If you do end up getting a bunch of these overload cards in the early game, you will be in a dominant position, but you're going to go through cards fast. Mana Tide is here to help you refill your hand. And it's also a totem, so it will get buffed by like the Thunderbluff Valiant, and it's another body on the board for Bloodlust. All around a solid card. We have 2 Tuskar Totemics. People are calling this one of the best 3-drops in the game. I don't know if it's the best in the whole game, but it's definitely one of the better 3-drops you can have for a Shaman. Although 3/2 are not great stats for a 3-mana card, he does summon another random totem, so at worst, you get a hero power for free. At best, you get a Totem Golem with no overload for free. Can be pretty great. And he can also give you a free Flame Tongue Totem, which if you could put 3 Flame Tongue Totems in your deck, you probably would. So Tuskar, usually great. Even when he summons a garbage totem, it's still pretty useful. And then we have the big hitter, the Flame Wreathed Faceless. Probably the most awesome card, or the most effective card that the Shamans got in the last expansion. Yeah, they got a whole bunch of awesome new toys, but I think this one is the winner. A 7/7 for 4 mana, and it only overloads you for 2. The Flame Wreath Faceless is 7/7, a War Golem's worth of stats for only 4 mana. You put this down on turn 4, and if your opponent does not have a way to immediately deal with it, you just start winning. And if you have something decent to follow it up, you're going to keep winning. Trying to remove a 7/7 with only 4 or 5 mana is really difficult. And half the time you play the Flame Wreath Faceless on turn 4, it will just win you the game. And even in the later game, playing a 7/7 for 4 is still great, because then if you're on turn 10, you play a 7/7 and you've still got 6 mana left to play another 6-drop, another Ogre or something. Can you imagine if you could play an Ogre and a War Golem in the same turn? That's an impossible amount of tempo to overcome. Really great card. Flame Wreath Faceless might just be the MVP of this deck. But the other contender for MVP is Doomhammer, the 2-attack, 8 durability weapon with Wind Fury, meaning you can attack twice a turn. You can deal 4 damage to one target or 2 damage to 2 different targets. Usually you end up just swinging this thing face a whole bunch. It's great for maintaining control of the board in the late game, but it is super effective at just dealing a ton of damage to face and finishing off your opponent before they have a chance to stabilize. With all the other Overload cards, it's fairly likely that you will have a board and will have done, if not significant, at least a moderate amount of damage to your opponent's face. If you bring this out on turn 5 and start swinging, your opponent will die very fast, especially in combination with the Rockbiter weapons. One Rockbiter weapon plus Doomhammer is 10 damage in one turn. So, if you draw a Doomhammer early enough, it's very likely that you will win the game. We also have one Bloodlust. This card has not seen a lot of love over the years, despite being very similar to Savage Roar, which is basically an auto-include for Druids. It gives all of your minions plus 3 attack for one turn. Not your hero, which is the one major difference from Savage Roar. It's 1 less damage, and it doesn't give your hero attack. Only your minions. But this card is still immensely powerful because it weaponizes all of the little garbage totems you're going to be summoning throughout the game. Like, early on, your opponent will probably try to clear your totems just in the interest of having a clear board, but over time, he's going to have to focus on killing your real minions like Tunnel Trogs and Spirit Wolves and Totem Golems, and he's not going to be able to deal with all of your 0/2 totems. Well, you collect enough of those on the board, and Bloodlust is lethal. Like, if you have just 4 totems on the board, that's 12 damage right there for 5 mana. Usually you end up using this to finish the game. In some games where you're really behind and you haven't drawn your Lightning Storm, or you drew your Lightning Storm and it only did 2 damage and left you totally screwed, you can use Bloodlust to at least give your totems enough power to clear the board. But usually you want to use this guy to finish the game. And speaking of weaponizing our totems, we have 2 Thunderbluff Valiants. A 3/6 for 5 is not ideal stats, but it's still pretty good. It'll kill most 1 and 2 drops, and it will survive most 4 drops hitting it. So it's survivable. It'll kill some small stuff, but the real value of this card is the Inspire effect. Every time you use your hero power, it will give all of your totems plus 2 attack. And that's including things like the Totem Golem, which already have quite a bit of attack on their own. So you have a board full of totems. Your opponent has managed to remove your Flame Wreath Faceless and your Tunnel Trogs, and now you're just left with a board full of totems. You throw down Thunderbluff Valiant, and those totems will go to work. They'll kill things, they'll do face damage, And if you can't clear them all, they're just going to keep on growing and growing. I have seen a little 1/1 totem grow all the way up into like a 8/2 minion using the Thunderblood Valiant. And of course, that won me the game. Anytime you can take a 1/1 and turn it into an 8/2, you're doing alright. So yeah, Thunderblood Valiant, it's a decent minion on its own. Its effect is very powerful, and it can help you end the longer games if you're not lucky enough to draw Bloodlust. Also handy is that the Thunderblood Valiant's effect actually goes off on the totem you summon. So the totem you summon to activate the Thunderblood Valiant also gets the buff, which is nifty. So even if you have a completely empty board, on turn 7 you could play this guy and get 1 buff totem. We have 1 fire elemental. Definitely one of the powerhouses of the Shaman stable. And I hate to keep saying this, but it's definitely one of the best 6 drops in the game. It's got 6 attack, meaning it will kill almost everything up to and including its own cost. And will even kill quite a few 7 drops as well. It has 5 health, so it's relatively survivable. And of course that battle cry. Dealing 3 damage to a target upon playing it is just really, really good. You can kill something, you can wound a bigger minion so that it can be taken out by a smaller minion. You can deal 3 extra damage to face so that you can finish him off with a weapon. Dealing 3 damage to the board is very useful. 3 damage is a very important breakpoint in the stats of Hearthstone minions. 3 damage kills a lot of things. And in addition to that 3 damage, you also get a 6/5 minion. It's a pretty good deal. And honestly, I'm torn about whether I need more than 1 fire elemental in here. So far, I've been doing okay with 1. But if you're missing any of the other cards in this deck, you can definitely substitute 1 with another fire elemental. You won't be disappointed. And then our last new guy, Thing from Below, came to us from the old gods. It's technically a 6 mana card. It's a 5/5 with taunt, so decent stats. But what makes this card super effective is that it costs 1 less for each totem you've summoned during the game. And unlike Primal Fusion, this is not reliant on how many totems you have on the board. It doesn't matter if your opponent kills every single totem you summon. As long as you summon them, Thing from Below gets discounted. And that counts off of things like the Flame Tongue Totem, the Totem Golem, and Tuskar's totems as well. So you will very quickly be able to cast this guy for cheap or free. And playing a 5/5 with taunt for free on pretty much any turn is a huge tempo swing. This guy can win you games. He can also protect your weaker stuff, like, you buff up one of your Tunnel Trogs with a whole bunch of overload, and you don't have any mana left, but you can still protect it with a Thing from Below because you've totemed a bunch and now it costs 0 mana. Thing from Below fits into this curve so well because with all of the overload, and we've only got 1 card that alleviates overload, so you're going to overload a lot in the early game, and that's going to lead to a lot of awkward turns where you're not able to play as many cards as you would like, so you end up just using 2 mana to summon a totem. And all those awkward turns where all you can do is totem end up paying off as soon as you draw Thing from Below. So like I said, it's a very flexible deck. We have a lot of tools to go aggressive early and just deal tons of damage. But we also have the things we need to be able to stay on the board, stabilize against overwhelming numbers, and just build up big threats that can eventually win out a control game. So that's Totemic Overload. Let's take it out on the ladder and see what it can do. Mirror match.
Frost wolves.
And it's probably aggro shaman, because that's what you see all over the ladder these days. I like this hand. We'll toss back one Rockbiter weapon. We'll keep one just to deal with his Trog. Okay, no Trog, turn one. That's pretty good for us.
Protects me.
If you can't do anything but totem this turn, no. That's a shame. Ooh. Okay. I think this will be a good tempo. We're gonna play the Trog. We're gonna Rockbiter the Squire to take care of his Golem. Then next turn we can play the Totem Golem. Buff our Trog. Oh darn. Well, in that case we might as well play Tuskar. Maybe we'll get a Flame Tongue. No, fine Totem. Oh well. We could play a thing from below next turn. Let's see. If I coin one now, I can play another one next turn. 5/5 into 5/5. That might be pretty tough for him to deal with. My other option is I Totem Golem and Totem, and that would reduce it to 3. And so then next turn I can Totem and thing from below. Yeah, I think I just want to keep more stuff on the board against this guy. You gotta kill him spell power. Can't leave that hanging around. Because Lightning Storm would still totally wreck our day. Heck, even without spell power, Lightning Storm would be pretty bad. But he doesn't seem to have it. Oh, there's his thing from below. Leaving me to wonder if maybe I should have cast mine. Actually, we have spell damage on the board. So do we just go for the Lightning Storm and see how lucky we get? Oh, and then I can even coin out the Sentinel to unlock the Overload. And then I can probably play both things next turn. Okay, I think that's the move. Please roll high. Oh, wow.
Fight.
That could not have gone better. Wiped. Oh, whoops, I forgot to coin out the Sentinel. I might still be able to do it. Do the Sentinel and the thing from below, possibly. Let's see. Yeah, if I do this.
I can see what is to come.
So actually, I can Totem again and play a thing. Awesome. And we got the healing totem. All right. As long as he doesn't draw his lightning storm, we're in pretty good shape. Oh, darn. Got his hex. All right, well, maybe he won't be able to deal with a second thing. And we might as well totem. Play out the thing. So, do I kill the wolf with the totem golem? Or do I lightning bolt it? I think we're going to save the lightning bolt for face damage. And tied, not threatening. As long as there's no lightning storm. No lightning storm. Oh man, that's great. Oh is this game over? I think it is. Let's find out. Yeah, it's over. Oh man. Bloodlust is one of those cards that, like, you almost never get to finish the turn you play it. As soon as it's played, they concede.
Thrall versus Garrosh.
Victory or death for Doomhammer.
If it's a control warrior, this could be pretty tough. We didn't get much early game either. So we're probably not going to get off to the aggressive start that we would really hope for against a warrior. That's still a good turn one play. If he coins the axe though, that's gonna suck.
Greetings.
Okay. And here comes the axe. That sucks. Oh man. So we are getting off to the slow starts.
It's time for a little blood.
Okay, I guess we have to lightning bolt that. Is he just playing some like generic enrage warrior?
My blade be thirsty.
Guess we're gonna have to frog that. So we can't risk that getting out of control. Guess we can thing from below next turn. Or maybe Doomhammer. Depending on what he plays. Ah, man. Let's see. Actually, I can play the Golem and the Thing this turn. Yeah, I think that's the strongest play we can make here. We don't want to attack into the frog while he's got the frothing berserker out there. If he has any way to enrage it, he might be able to kill it. Oh, that sucks. Now I have to come through 2 taunts to kill that thing. Gonna have to use Flame Tongue Totem. And I might have to sacrifice the Thing, which would suck. Let's see, it gets +1 attack for each damage. So it's gonna be up to like, yeah, it's gonna kill the thing from below.
What to do?
But it has to be done. So we'll do that.
There's little time.
Kill that. Oh, whoops. I did that all wrong. Oh, darn. Well, we probably lost this game because I misplaced my Flame Tongue. Placement is very important when you're playing the Shaman. You gotta make sure you place your things just right so they can all receive the benefits they need. we're definitely going to Thunder Bluff here. And we're going to trade in the spell damage totem. So we want the healing totem to keep working on the golem. This will keep our totem golem in the game. We still don't have enough stuff on the board to push for lethal.
Let the pain speak to
And
me.
let's see, is he gonna whirlwind? Possibly brawl. Nope. Okay. Oh no. All my stuff will heal if I can keep the totem alive. Now he's gonna execute that. I guess that means I have to play another Thunder Bluff. Hope for a taunt. Or I can Doom Hammer, kill those, totem, and play the Squire. I'll be overloaded for 2 on turn 9, which means I'll still have 7, so I can still Thunder Bluff. So yeah, I think we just clear this garbage off the board. And I hope our healing totem keeps everything in the game. And if he has to waste Executor or Brawl on this, that's not that bad. Actually, Brawl would be pretty bad if
I have no time for
only one of these
games.
survives. Oh, jeez.
Back to work.
Why would he do that? I guess, can I kill him this turn? If this was 7, plus 4 is 11, plus 3 is 14. Just barely shy of lethal. Alright then, I guess, oh wait, if I play... No, if I play this, then I still just have 7 left. But it might be worth it just to have another body on the board. Yeah, I think we have to go for it.
What is to come?
I fight.
No!
Elements guide me.
I am being killed by misclicks. Oh my god, I would have won.
Choose
Oh well. Looks like we still win. Yeah, there was some hitch or whatever in the animation. I clicked on the wrong thing. Well, it's a very powerful deck if you can make 2 pretty big mistakes and still win.
Thrall versus Rexar.
Cat Samurai.
Let the hunt begin. For
Interesting there.
Doomhammer.
Let's see. Those are later. I'm trying to decide if I want to keep a Flame Tongue against a Hunter. Yeah, I guess. It'll help me weaponize my totems. Ooh. We can get our Tunnel Tribe behind these Spirit Wolves. That'll be a pretty good start.
Charge rule!
Yeah, looks like we're probably going to have to coin the wolves, which I don't really like doing. I guess we don't have to worry about that now. The wolves can wait for turn 3. Carrion Grub. That thing is so annoying. Okay, we're gonna play the wolves here. If that gets Houndmastered, that's really gonna suck. doesn't, and it trades with one of the wolves, we can finish it with the Rockbiter weapon. I'm trying to decide if I want to coin the Squire right now. Because we'll only have 2 mana next turn. Yeah, I should probably go ahead and get it out there. And I guess I'll put it
The light
here
protects me.
so that I can theoretically buff the totem or a wolf as well with a flame tongue. We'll see what happens. Houndmaster is like the worst thing. Okay. We are safe from Houndmaster, at least. Now the question here is, do I flame tongue and just go all face, or do I kill that wolf? I think I use the Squire to kill the wolf, because the spiders it leaves behind, he'll be able to trade for one of the wolves, but not both. Do I want to clear one of these? Yeah, because then there's less beasts for him to buff. Yeah, I'm not sure about that attack, if that was correct or not. Oh man, that sucks. That is really bad for us. Another quick shot. Alright. Well, now we need Lightning Storm or we're totally boned. Ugh. Killing me. I guess we just have to play this guy and hope that he can eat some of these minions. Like if he kill commands it, we're so screwed. Oh wow, he's actually gonna trade everything for it. That's kind of amazing. Well, he did what I needed him to do. So I'm gonna frog that. Place it. So much for his high main. Oh man, he got the ball. That is so annoying. I guess we're doing alright, because he does seem to be a face-oriented deck. And he has not done very much damage to our face. Gosh, what trap could that be? If it's freezing trap, this guy comes back and he costs 4. I think we're just gonna see what totems we get.
Did you bring some fish?
Okay, that's good. He's gonna take more damage from hitting it. Possibly he won't be able to deal with the flame tongue too. That would be nice.
The end is coming!
Doomsayer. For real, dude? Well, I guess I have to kill that, because I can't afford to lose more minions. Let's see. If I just totem up, I'd still have to use a Rockbiter to clear that. Alright, well I guess first we have to see if this is explosive trap. It's freezing, that's fine. So, oh man, I can't do everything I need to do. Ah, this sucks.
I wonder.
Okay, this is
Little time.
incredibly awkward,
Greetings, traveler.
but it's what's going to have to happen. Now we're gonna save that. There. I hope that'll be at least somewhat difficult for him to deal with. Oh, man. Kill command into another bow. We are really gonna have to go for it here. Boy, if I play this, I only have 6 left. So yeah, I have to Thunder Bluff without that extra totem.
There is a lot at stake.
Oh, if only you had been a Tonto. Oh! Okay. He just couldn't take the totemic onslaught. Alright.